Hello everyone, this is Arrow, and welcome back to Sundown Moon Up Podfics. Today we will be continuing Fuck Bullies by RandomWeirdCat, Chapter 12. Asahiro sat down next to Dabi with his hands close to his chest. I will slaughter every single hero if they even try and take Izuku back. I don't care about their ranks or how strong they are. Toga giggles. Aw, I'm happy we feel the same. I thought you were the smart one out of all of us. I don't think taking on every single hero is very smart. Dabi flashes a grin and continues to let Twice hug his arm. We can take them. We'll get our butts kicked, Twice said. Himiko leaned into the counter. Kirigiri, you said Tomura flipped a coin earlier, right? What'd he get? She rocks on the stool underneath her. Tails, he's still debating with himself. You know how he is. Kirigiri sighed. Toga pats the seat next to her, and Kirigiri joined her without hesitation. The girl began messing with his tie. Yeah, with that crush he has on Eraserhead, you know he doesn't want to mess with that guy. Spinner says, his mask sat beside him on the counter. Dabi chuckles. True. The TV next to Kirigiri flickers to life and makes them all jump. Tomura admires Eraserhead. He does have a slight crush on the man, but that's not important right now. The heroes are coming. Inform Tomura, we need to move the boys. Kirigiri jumps up and he's gone in seconds. The TV is silent but still on. The four villains look at each other and shrug. The TV sighed. I wasn't finished talking. The heroes are 2 minutes from the boys. They brought speedy heroes and agile ones. I do hope he makes it in time. The TV flickered off and Dabi slams his head into the counter. Fuck, I hope Kirigiri's fast enough. Atsuhiro pats his back. He always is. It'll be fine. Everyone's nerves start to calm down. But what if he isn't? He left us here and we're over 4 hours away from them. Spinner's voice makes them all groan. Fuck. This wasn't expected. Tomura was slammed to the ground from his place near a wall. That's the last time he's staying that close to a damn wall. Father falls off his face and all he sees is red. Have no fear, for I am here. All Might's voice cuts the quiet of the air in half. Tomura rushes up and glares at the hero from behind his strands of hair. You. The words catch and get stuck in his throat when he takes another look and sees so many fucking heroes. Hawks, Edshot, a small man with a yellow cape and yellow boots, Kamiwoods, Best Jeanist. Holy shit, they brought All Might's old sidekick too, Night Eye. Hitoshi and Izuku jump up from their beds. All Might! Izuku shouts with a smile. Eraserhead bursts through the door, and his eyes flash red. Tomura clenches his fist. Izuku, Hitoshi? Both boys freeze. Eraserhead and All Might rush in, and they push both boys behind them. Shut up. Eraserhead growls at him. A purple portal opens next to Tomura. He sighs in relief, and he freezes with realization. Kirigiri, bring... Something connects to his jaw and he skids back and sees a flash of yellow and white before his back connects with another wall. Kirigiri emerges from the portal and is instantly grabbed by Kamiwoods. Eraserhead glares at them with red eyes. Fuck the both of you for stealing our kids. Eraserhead growls at them. Tomura dashes at them, completely ignoring All Might and Father on the floor. All of you... Something wrapped around him in a tight grip, and he sees a red streak going through Kirigiri. His guardian falls limp into the ground, his head hung low. Tomura wanted to scream. A few pressure points are pressed, and everyone is happy, Edshot says from behind Kirigiri. Best Jeanist has thread wrapped around Tomura from his shoulders down. Tomura looks at Father and Izuku. This can't be the end. Izuku and Hitoshi were his. They belong to the League now. They adopted them. He can't just let these heroes take them away. Izuku was still broken, and he barely knew how to live normally without thinking about everyone else instead of himself. He barely knew how to say no before Dabi spoke to him. Izuku still didn't understand he was being abused and bullied. If his mother only tried once to fix that, his mother was at fault as well. Hitoshi was warming up to Dabi and compressing twice. They were getting along. Tomura refuses to let them go. He opens his mouth and screams. No! You stupid fucks! You will not take them away. They aren't fixed. I won't let you take them. Give them back. Give them back! He sees Hawks laugh. Hell, you're supposed to be the league's leader? This is a little sad to watch. Tomura only got angrier. He glares at All Might. I'll kill all of you. Something next to him makes him freeze. Portals of black sludge were opening out of every corner and behind the heroes. Tomura looks at the portals. Sensei? Nomu came rushing from the portals and instantly attacked. A large fight broke out. The Nomu got the heroes away from the boys and Tomura. The material around Tomura turns to dust with a single touch now that Eraserhead is helping the other heroes. He reaches out to grab Izuku and Hitoshi when All Might stood in his way. Don't even think about it. All Might grabs him by the throat and squeezes him until Tomura sees spots and his fingers became numb. He reaches out to touch All Might's wrist, but his hand is swatted away. You will regret the day you thought about stealing my students. All Might spoke through his teeth. Tomura tried to spit out some words. His vision was getting darker and darker with the seconds passing by. All Might, he's going to pass out. Izuku's voice made him jolt. Tomura's eyes fluttered closed. He's too dangerous to leave conscious, young Midoriya. All Might replies and glances over his shoulder. Izuku's eyes suddenly weren't on him. They were wide and afraid. They looked at the villain in his hands. All Might drops Shigaraki and turns around. Young Midoriya. He reaches out. A scream made them all jump. Hitoshi looked over his shoulder to see a man in a suit holding Eraserhead by the throat. His other hand covered Eraserhead's eyes. The man had a terrifying mask on. It almost looked like a skull. Hitoshi ignores all the signs of danger and tries to run at his father. All Might's hand on his chest was the only thing stopping him. He heard Izuku gasp from behind him. Everyone froze. Even the Nomu came to a stop. All for one. All Might's voice made him flinch. It was filled with so much anger and hate. Calm down, All Might. I'm not here to fight. I simply wish to take my children back. All for one squeezes Eraserhead's throat. He makes the man gasp, and his legs kick out. You will not. Red blooms from both of All for One's hands. Eraserhead lets out a scream, and All Might jumps forward. All for One takes a step back. Now you wouldn't want me snapping this fine hero's neck, would you? Are you ready to lose another person close to you, All Might? All Might didn't move and stayed frozen. His hands trembled. Release him. Give me my boys, and I will. All for One's hands flash red again, and Aizawa screams again. Hawk's feathers were sneaking towards All for One. The man uncovers Eraserhead's eyes and aims a raised hand at the heroes in Nomu. I want to take All Might alone. Go away. With a burst of air, Hitoshi and Izuku are pushed behind All Might and hugged. Izuku felt the air rip through the air, and he kept his eyes shut tightly. Screams were heard. A loud crash made him flinch. Now that they are taken care of, All Might, let's talk. The arms around Izuku and Hitoshi tightened. Izuku could finally open his eyes without the air pressure stopping him. He peeks one eye open and looks past All Might's arms. The building was blown to hell and back. It looked like they weren't even buildings anymore. The heroes laid knocked out and bleeding. Some heroes were missing and others didn't look like they were breathing. All Might pushes the two boys behind him again and stands tall. His sharp blue eyes glare at All for One. You bastard! All for One still held Eraserhead in his tight grip. All Might, give me Izuku and Hitoshi and you can have Eraserhead back in one piece. Izuku saw Kirigiri and Tomura slump to the ground behind All for One. Hitoshi's eyes clouded with tears, and he saw his dad go limp in the villain's grasp. Dad! He struggles against All Might and tries to push past the hero. Let me go. We need to. Izuku. Izuku wanted to hug Hitoshi. His own eyes were filled with tears. Oh, All Might, it's okay. Save Aizawa-sensei. All Might clenches his jaw. Give me Eraserhead. I will not negotiate with you, villain. Give me Izuku and Hitoshi, jackass. All for One snaps back. The two stare at each other, both daring the other to move. Chapter 13. Red and black tendrils shoot back and pierce Kurogiri's chest. Izuku gasps as he tries to run at All for One to make him stop. A purple portal opens next to All for One. It's a simple choice, really. Izuku and Hitoshi for Eraserhead. All for One sighs and made a rolling gesture with his hand. All Might, you don't want to waste any time now. I've injured many heroes after all. I can hear some of their hearts failing and some of their organs rupturing from my attack. All Might's fists start to shake. I knew you were still alive, lurking around in the shadows. All for One scoffs. Are you sure about that? With how small your brain is, I'm surprised you even thought of any possibilities of me living past our other battle. All Might jolts forward like he wants to run at the other man, but was holding himself back. Izuku places his hand on his mentor's arm. All Might, you need to save everyone else. We'll be okay. All Might stares at the ground. Give me Eraserhead first. No. How about we hand them all off at the same time? All for One makes the first move and starts walking towards them. All Might actually flinches back and his grip doesn't loosen on both boys. All for One walks to the middle of the room. I've done my part. Now it's your turn. All Might wanted to ignore every fiber in his body. Everything was screaming at him to just take the boys and run, to get away from this dangerous monster. He couldn't abandon the others. There were so many other lives at risk. He hates negotiations. With a heavy heart, All Might slowly walks over to All for One with both of his students. Hitoshi reaches out for his father with his cuffed arms and screams at All Might to let him go. Young Shinsou. All Might tried to calm the boy. Hitoshi looked up with pleading eyes. Please, save my dad. He can't die. Hitoshi cries harder. All Might's knees shook as he released Hitoshi and allows him to run at All for One. His other hand still held onto Izuku, though. All for One tilts his head. Both boys, All Might. I won't hesitate to snap Eraserhead's neck. Izuku's wide green eyes look at him. It's okay. You can let... He doesn't get to finish his sentence. Feathers rush past Izuku and throw him back. Hitoshi grabs onto his dad's arm and refuses to be pulled away. All for One's grip on Eraserhead loosens, and a yellow blur rushes at him. He blocks the blur and grabs Hitoshi. He sends Tomura and Kurogiri through a portal and throws Hitoshi in as well. I will not be leaving without Izuku. Hawks flies beside All Might. His coat is torn to shreds and his face is bloody and dirty. There are cuts deep in his skin and his pants has ribs in them. You aren't touching him. Red feathers rush at All for One. The yellow blur becomes a very short man. All for One chuckles. Nana Shimura's friend. Hello again. Gran Torino's cape was ripped, and there was blood slipping past his lips. The bastard. Oh, it seems your internals aren't working right. Maybe you should have stayed down. All for One raises his hand towards Hawks and Gran Torino. He blocks the Detroit smash from All Might and drops Eraserhead. His feet skid into the ground and he slides back. Are you really trying to fight me when you have a child and an injured hero's behind you? All for One taunts. All Might freezes up. You're holding back. You might just end up dying if you continue to provoke me. All Might's cold blue eyes glare at the villain in front of him. You're holding back as well. All for One raises his hand. Only because Izuku is right behind you, or else I would have thrown you into a grave, you... Gran Torino goes to strike again. Hawks' feathers dash out. All for One is forced to take a step back from Gran Torino and All Might attacks. All for One instantly regrets letting the heroes push him back when he falls back into the warp gate. His hand reaches out and red tendrils shoot out and slam into Gran Torino's stomach, Hawks' chest, and All Might's side. The three heroes let out a loud scream. The feathers pushing Izuku suddenly give out and fall to the ground. Izuku doesn't waste time and tries to run at All For One. Leave them alone! The tendrils reach him, but he flinches back. The portal around All For One shuts closed and disappears. Izuku stood with his tears falling from his eyes. Hitoshi! He runs to the spot where All For One was. All Might groans and holds his side. He got away. He winces when he tries to stand. Hawks floats to the ground and held his chest. His breathing was shallow and shaky. Sorry about that. His words sounded wet and he wheezes. I definitely broke something. He falls back and groans. Gran Torino falls to his knees and throws up. All Might winces at the sound. The others, we need to. A loud groan makes everyone turn their head from the dry heaving Gran Torino. Eraserhead sits up and holds his head. What happened? Did we get Hitoshi and Izuku? He looks around with dark eyes. Hitoshi hiccups. They got Hitoshi. I'm so sorry. Eraserhead looked around at the damage with disappointment and sorrow. Fuck. He stops and shivers. Aizawa looks down at his hands and clenches his fists. All Might takes a step towards the man. Are you all right? Something's off. Aizawa checks his pockets and finds his screen cracked. What? He tried to narrow his eyes before becoming wide. He looks at the slightly hovering hawks and stares for a few seconds. A horrified look comes across his face, and he looks at All Might. My quirk isn't working. Alright everyone, that is the end of chapters 12 and 13 of Fic Bullies. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you all for listening, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!